Right now at 5, the Parsons Police Department increases the reward for information concerning the killing of a police officer's dog. And a jury finds a Newton County, Missouri man guilty of shooting a man he claimed keyed his car. Also, Crowder College plugs into the world of esports, claiming a national title in the process.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Chris Warner. We're joined by Nick Kelly. Something I was thinking about this morning is the fact that I've never seen you at this hour of the day.
Right now, I'm just thinking, have we reached Saturday?
I feel like it is. Like this is
like
actually Saturday,
Saturday
6 p.m. It's something people may not know. Nick Kelly is an avid fan of classic rock. A very avid fan of classic rock. In fact, he sends me a song a day during the week.
I need to make it up to you though, because I wasn't here over the weekend. But just classic cuts that you probably don't hear a lot, at least down here.
And if you don't hear them, there's somewhere you can go to find these out. You can go to facebook.com/NickKellyWX. In fact, there you see it. He posts some of his songs that he likes, and whoa, one of these lights just blew up. That was cool. Well, anyway, what's also cool is check it out. He will not only give you the forecast, he will also give you a history lesson and provide some great information with some great music. And there's some other great information I've got to share with you.
Yeah, other than that Moody Blues song that you have the screen cap there.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Gypsy and Eternity Road. That's a 2-in-1 classic that you got to listen to.
And you also have a recommendation too, by the way, for a radio station. Thankfully, they stream online out of St. Louis, which is where you're from.
My hometown rock station, KC95.
You got to check him out because, believe me, on the weekends, he's out here, he's jamming out, and I actually lose track of time jamming out with him sometimes. Something you don't want to jam out to. I got to tell you about this. This is the glorious world of Facebook. There is a thing in Icelandic Christmas folklore called the Yule Cat. Okay. And it's not what you think it is. It's not just a cat that's all pleasant and happy and friendly and everything like that. This cat, no, he's not a good cat at all. In fact, I got this information. The Yule Cat is not one you want to have as a pet because he is a huge and vicious cat who lurks about there. He looks about like that until this happens. Lurks about the snowy countryside during Christmas time or Yule, and he eats people who have not received any new clothes to wear before Christmas Eve. So he may look calm and happy now, but Nick, if you don't have new clothes to wear before Christmas Eve, watch out.
That's an odd requirement to celebrate Christmas.
Tell me about it, but the Yule Cat's very serious about this, apparently.
Well, I tell you what, though, if any of the new clothes can help keep you warm, all the better. Because
it's got chilly.
Yeah, we're out to another
cold.
Another cold start this morning. On the other hand, though, we're talking mostly clear skies at 5:03 on this Wednesday morning on the backside of an upper-level wave that brought maybe a few flurries, a couple sprinkles the other day. But ever since we got this system out of here, we've been enjoying mostly clear skies and absolutely nothing on the radar network. As far as temperatures go, we're in the upper 20s to lower 30s to start this morning out. And with a light breeze, it feels like maybe the mid-20s in some spots. But we are going to do much better with temperatures today now that we have a lot more sun to work with. We'll be around 32 as the kiddos head out to school, but by the time they head back home, we're going to be into the mid-50s for the afternoon. But in between it all, we're going to see temperatures eager to warm up fast once we get the sun to rise back up. 39 by 9 a.m., 51 by noon. Again, Chris, I think we'll do much better with temperatures today. We were in the 40s the past few days. I think we'll go 56 for the afternoon ahead of us, and we'll break down the rest of the forecast when we get our first look at the 7-day coming up in a bit.
Well, hopefully we can get some of that sunshine because, man, yesterday was a bit of a dreary day.
Yeah, and if it's going to look dreary, it might as well at least snowed or rained or did something, but we have so much dry air once you drop below 2 miles in the atmosphere that anything that tried to fall just got gobbled up by all the dry air.
Well, hopefully, if it's going to be cloudy, it's like you said, it needs to snow, rain, do something. It can't just be cloudy and be miserable.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you so much. Turning to today's top stories, police have increased the reward for anyone who can offer information leading to the arrest of whoever brutally killed a police officer's dog. Last week, Ranger was found dead in his owner's backyard. Police yesterday announced they've increased the reward to $3,000. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink said in a statement, quote, "This was not just the killing of a dog. It was a brutal mutilation of a beloved pet and attempted threat to one of our officers." A jury finds a Newton County, Missouri man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities say in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then when the man came outside, he shot the man as well. Now that man survived. White testified that he went to the house because his vehicle had been keyed. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says he'll continue to fight President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandates.
President Biden's administration does not believe in personal responsibilities.
The governor appeared on Tuesday with Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor. The state has asked a federal judge to stop the mandatory vaccinations for federal employees and National Guard members.
And my problem is not with the vaccine. My problem is with the notion of it being mandated. I also have a problem with the use of our paychecks as the tool or weapon against our employees, our good Oklahomans. And I have a problem with the federal government using our good employers to do the dirty work for the Biden administration.
Governor Stitt maintains that the federal mandates are unconstitutional and an example of federal overreach. The state is filing 5 lawsuits to fight the federal mandates. On Tuesday, Leggett & Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech.
Now, these masks are going to be used not only by our daytime programs, which serve high schools from Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, and Sarcoxy, but also will help out our adult programs at night that serve people from throughout the areas.
Franklin Tech is at 810 South Wall in Joplin. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports. Now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. It's obviously a big accomplishment and will help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at the university.
I was trying to play off placement, but also get my elims and everything. So getting those together, that first game, I won that entire game. But the second one, I got 4th in. But it was pretty cool seeing, being able to do that and have that, I guess, luck to get that far in without being stopped.
7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games such as NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The Joplin Parks and Recreation Department and Mercy Hospital are encouraging families to be active during the holidays, and they're offering an incentive. The Roll and Stroll program is an activity challenge created to coincide with the holiday tree trail. The first 200 people who register with the Parks Department and complete at least 5 listed activities will receive plush knit beanies from Mercy. Activities include walking, biking, or even roller skating. It is now 5:07.
And as promised, Chris, our first look at the 7-day forecast this morning. Again, after seeing temperatures struggle to get out of the mid-40s the past few days, we're going to hit 56 today, 68 Thursday. Another tease to start the weekend out with highs near 73, but then another system on the way with rain chances on Friday and another chill behind it. We'll go 49 Saturday, 56 on Sunday. Thankfully, though, most of the weekend's looking pretty good.
Thank you so much. And that is a look at this morning's top stories and weather here in the first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Red Hawk Carl Junction starts their girls basketball season 3-0. Can the Bulldogs keep up the momentum against Girard? Plus, weather in the 4 states, that can get downright cold, as we're kind of proving here, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. And some experts are saying mixing and matching COVID-19 vaccines may provide better protection. You're watching KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Two of the most consistent girls basketball programs in the area met the other night in Carl Junction. It was CJ up against Girard in an early season interstate matchup the other night. The Bulldogs were 3-0 to start the season out. On the other side, Girard 1-0 on their account. It's a good ball movement for Girard here. Kinley Smith to Olivia Cohen to Emmeline Senecut. Girard on the board first. Then Olivia Cohen, a bucket, and the foul. That puts Girard up 8 after 1. Over in the second, Kinley Smith. It's a tough shot in 1. There we go. Trojans controlled the first half, and they're up 26-19 at the break. But early in the third, CJ eager to respond. Kylie Scott, really tough shot. That goes in. But moments later, Destiny Berge gets the score and the foul. An 8-0 run for the Bulldogs to take the lead, but the Trojans go back up 6 going into the fourth. And a great finish to this one. Berge again, a score plus the foul. This game was all tied up. And on the other end, a big response with Danica Lopez knocking down to 3. Nice shot. Girard, though, back in front. And in the final seconds, CJ was down by 2. Chloe Burke, final chance for CJ. Just couldn't get it in, and that's all she wrote. It was a big-time win for Girard, topping Carl Junction 50-48.
He has every year one of the best teams in the area. That's why we like to come over and play them, and I think they like to do that as well. What a great gritty performance by our kids. I cannot say enough about each and every one of them. We defended very, very well. That's what set it all up. But at key times, we hit shots when we needed to.
In Pittsburgh, another interstate matchup. That's one with the Purple Dragons squaring off against the Nevada Tigers. In the girls' game, Nevada gets a 15-point win, 53-38. And as for the boys, the Dragons got their first win, beating the Tigers 55-27. Webb City and Lamar are less than a week removed from playing for football state championships. Yeah, their football seasons are still going. Now it's time for the two schools to turn their attention to basketball, and the two teams actually played each other last night. This one is the season opener for Webb City. Lamar, meanwhile, they were already off to a 3-0 start in the season. The Cardinals lead with Lamar trying to stay in it. Eli Hull knocked down the 3 right there. But then the Tigers again. Connor Gastel, that's knocking down the jumper here. But Webb City ends up closing this one out. Dante Washington drives and goes off the glass for the finish. He scores 8. The high kicker the other night, KT Money, Caden Turner. Nice move on the block. Turner gets 19 on the night. Webb City gets a road win in their opener, 58-40 over Lamar. A pair of CNC schools squared off, Frontenac against Riverton. In the girls' contest, Frontenac came out on top, 60-21, and in the boys' game, the Raiders were able to get the sweep, winning 69-49. Pitt State's Trace Mosby has been named the Division II National Indoor Track and Field Athlete of the Week. In the Gorillas' first indoor meet of the season over the weekend, Mosby won the pentathlon with 4,122 points. That mark is amazing and also the best in the nation this season. Not to mention also the 5th best mark in NCAA Division II history. In addition to posting that big score, she also posted provisional qualifying marks for nationals in the 60-meter hurdles, the high jump, and the long jump. Certainly setting the bar pretty high in the first indoor meet of the season.
Putting a mark up like that can add pressure and saying, okay, well, I have to reach that score every meet from here on out. But in my head, it just proved that I'm able to do it, and also looking that there is more room for improvement, especially if there's a couple events that didn't go as well. So just kind of reaching that benchmark drives me to work harder in practice and know what I have to work on to increase that score even more.
To professional gridiron now, Pitt State's Jalen Martin. That is a man who is hoping to hear his name called when the NFL draft rolls around in April. Martin is headed to the draft after spending only one season with the Gorillas, but he was no doubt one of the best receivers in the MIAA this fall. He finished the year with 53 catches for 832 yards and 5 touchdowns, earning second-team All-MIAA honors. He has accepted an invite to play the Dream Bowl in Virginia in January, giving him another shot to show what he can do. And as always, Martin will be out to prove himself and show that he belongs.
I always play as if I got something to prove, even if I don't. But that's just the mentality I have. I just stay humble, I keep working, and I just take advantage of all opportunities that come my way. It's just time to work, man. It's time to work. I'm hungry. I've been practicing, waiting for this moment my whole life, and knowing that it's tangible. It's no longer a dream. It's really reality, and it's right in front of me. It's just up to me at this point.
And that's it for sports this morning. Still to come, Europe is battling a surge in COVID cases amid concerns over the Omicron variant. We'll have that in Health Watch. But first, a look at the forecast, including finally warmer temperatures for today when we come back. After quite a cloudy day, we certainly are seeing the skies clear out, setting the stage for a much brighter Wednesday once we get past sunrise, that is. But here's the upper level wave that left us cloudy and tried to get a few spots, a few sprinkles and flurries the other day. That's continuing to push out toward the east, and we still have another area high pressure keeping that light southerly breeze in place for this morning. That allowed temperatures to drop back into the upper 20s to lower 30s this morning. But again, it is nice that after we dealt with a lot of cloud cover the other day, we're seeing mostly clear skies to start the day out. Again, that sets the tone for the brighter day that we'll see unfold ahead of us. But for now, though, it's still dark, but we're looking quiet for 7th and range line. 30 and Joplin, the calm breeze. Thankfully, doesn't make it feel any colder than what it actually says on the thermometer. But a little bit of a spread in temperatures, mid-20s to lower 30s all across the region. You factor in the light breeze that's out there, it feels like maybe the mid-20s, maybe a couple lower 20s in some spots. In general, though, even though that breeze stays fairly light out of the south at 5 to 10, about 5 to 15, temperatures will be eager to respond today. 35 by 8 a.m., 51 by noon, and we'll push afternoon highs today to 56 degrees. That's around the Joplin metro, but same story applies for the entire region. Mostly sunny for the day. We'll be near 50 or 51 by noon, mid-50s for this afternoon. Then another quick wave is going to pass on by. We'll see some cloud cover return later on this evening and overnight. Maybe a couple sprinkles to go along with it. But once we get past at least a chilly start in the morning ahead with lows around 47. We'll go to 68 on Thursday, 73 on Friday. A nice mild start to the weekend before another system drops us back into the 40s and 50s for Saturday and Sunday. Switching gears now, the reality around the 4 states is cold, plain and simple, even though we've seen temperatures, oh goodness, push into the 60s and 70s to start December out. And hopefully some point down the line we'll have another shot for rain, maybe a couple of snowflakes. So it's all just a reminder of how winter can be like in the 4 states. But Susan Elizabeth Littlefield shows us how in St. Paul, Minnesota, even though it's certainly a lot colder out there, that means the fun's just warming up.
It's a very Minnesota day, the kind that takes your breath away.
I went outside and it was like, whoa, blast of winter air.
And maybe we all just got a little soft after such a long, warm stretch.
We opened in mid-March and we went through November 7th. Drought-like conditions, I think every golf operator in the state had a fantastic year. So it was from start to finish, sun up to sundown, we were booked solid.
But now it's time for the Golden Valley Golf Course to pivot. Curling leagues are rolling out and the ski trails are on their way.
We certainly would like some more snow, but once we get a little bit more, we've got the start, we've got the base, and once we get a little bit more, we'll start to groom the trail.
Snow may be at a minimum, but the cold is maxing out.
But this is Minnesota. People know how to just bundle up and throw caution to the wind.
Matt Lito is one of them. The Brookview Free Disc Golf Course is in full swing.
Is this too cold for you to play golf?
No, absolutely not.
You can even play in a day like today?
Absolutely, with the right gear. When you use hand warmers in your mitten, you stay nice and toasty.
He says his league will be playing all winter long because despite the circumstances, Minnesotans know how to keep life moving.
I feel if you stay indoors, you're going in the wrong direction.
So it's only fitting that something to talk about today is weather related. Plain and simple, are you ready for the winter season? Yes or no? You can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. You can also vote with the KOAM News app for Facebook, or make that iOS and Android. But we do have this posted on our Facebook page. You can chime in with your thoughts as well. In the meantime, Chris Warner will be back with Health Watch on the other side.
Blue Ribbon.
Topping Health Watch this morning. In Health Watch, a major British study says mixing COVID-19 vaccines could give us better protection against the virus. Many Americans are already mixing their booster shots. Ian Lee reports.
UK reveals mixing vaccines could be your best defense against COVID-19.
And we found really good immune responses across the board.
A University of Oxford study of more than 1,000 volunteers showed those who received a first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, followed by a second shot of Moderna 9 weeks later, saw a boost in immunity compared to just getting the same vaccine twice.
And we're showing there is flexibility. You don't have to stick rigidly to receiving the same vaccine for a second dose.
While the spread of new COVID variants like Omicron is putting pressure on countries around the world to speed up vaccination campaigns, Europe's top drug regulator says mixing vaccines could help.
Overall, it seems that this strategy is something that all type of vaccine could be benefiting from, and indeed different combination would still be extremely valuable.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved the mixing and matching of booster vaccines in the U.S. Some European countries like Spain and Germany are mixing the initial doses too.
Looking forward, if we want to target what's going to generate the best antibodies or the best T-cell response, these studies are providing a wealth of information that will really inform the science of this new approach to vaccines.
A mix and match method, scientists say, is not just effective, but safe too. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Researchers say these findings supporting flexible dosing will give hope to poor countries, which may need to combine different brands if supplies run low. Researchers working in South Africa said Tuesday that the Omicron coronavirus variant partially evades the Pfizer vaccine. However, the study also showed that people previously infected who were then vaccinated are likely to be well protected. Boosters are also likely to add more protection. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla gave an update on Tuesday on when he thinks Omicron-specific vaccine could be ready if it's needed. That's a look at today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:27.
And a quick look at the 7-day once again has us mostly sunny today, and temperatures eager to respond to that returning sun. 56 this afternoon, upper 60s tomorrow. We'll go 73 Friday, a mild start to the weekend, but on the backside of the cold front that'll come through on Friday. We got 40s and 50s line up for Saturday and Sunday. We're back after the break.
Good morning, I'm Chris Warner with your KOAM News Update. On Tuesday, Leggett & Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech. Franklin Tech is at 810 South Wall in Joplin. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports, and now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice? Call of Duty Warzone. That's obviously a big accomplishment and will help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at the university. 7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games such as NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And now here's Nick Kelly with the ultimate forecast.
We are certainly looks more ultimate compared to the past few days, Chris. 51 degrees by noon with plenty of sunshine today. We'll have highs topping out around 56 with the south breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. 68 Thursday, 73 on Friday. A nice mild start to the weekend. However, another cold front on Friday could bring a few showers, but ultimately it will send us back into the 40s on Saturday and the 50s on your Sunday afternoon.
Right now at 5:30, the Parsons Police Department increases the reward for information concerning the killing of a police officer's dog. Also, a jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man he claimed keyed his car. And Crowder College plugs into the world of esports, claiming a national title in the process.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Good morning to you all. Welcome to the KOA Morning News. It is now 5:32, actually. We're running a little bit behind, but that's all right. Nothing wrong with running a little bit behind. We're talking about how cold it is outside, and I'm telling you, I think it's colder in this studio than it is outside. And that's just, I mean, we have all these lights, all this stuff that we've got to keep cold.
No, if you leave these lights on right enough, it will heat things up a bit.
It will. And I think in the winter we could just move the studio outdoors. I mean, that would keep everything cool. It would
Well,
be just as cold.
If we weren't dealing with 20s and 30s this morning, yeah, we could probably entertain a morning show outside. But
I think it'd be great to go outside.
I mean, on the other hand, Chris, we would have had a nice sky because we're certainly mostly clear to start the day out, certainly looking from 7th and range line. And it's a nice change of pace after we had to deal with quite a bit of cloud cover due to a wave that passed on through the other day. It even tried to bring a few flurries and sprinkles to a few spots, but thankfully clear skies, nothing on the radar. We're finally starting to improve our weather setup today. As far as temperatures go, mid to upper 20s in southeast Kansas, lower 30s elsewhere. And with the light breeze, thankfully there's not that much of a wind chill, but something to keep in mind still, if that light breeze generally out of the south at 5 to 10. So for the kiddos, we're getting ready for school. 32 as you make your way to the bus stop and on the way to school, but then as you head back home, look at how temperatures eagerly warm back up to 56 degrees this afternoon. We will go 51 by noon, 56 for the afternoon with the south breeze at 5 to 10. And thankfully, we got a little more of a warming trend to go before another chill heads our way. We'll break that down in the 7-day forecast coming up in a bit, Chris.
Do you see how chill it is in here? This is Carrie. She runs our cameras. Do you see how cold it is in here? I'm not kidding. That's how, if I could wear a coat like that, I would wear a coat like that.
It feels just fine to me.
Carrie, thank you. She's demonstrating exactly how cold it is in this building. Something that's not so cold. We were talking about classic rock earlier, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, Moody Blues. There's a movie, there was a TV movie from TNT called Pirates of Silicon Valley. So, I was 12 when it came out, and I thought it was a great movie about Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. They feature a lot of great classic hits. One of them was a Moody Blues song called Question, which until I got older, I never knew was a Moody Blues song. Now, I've sent it to you,
and
I've been asking.
The first track of A Question of Balance, a great album.
See, I told you he knows classic rock, but here's the deal. You didn't know about that song. Have you listened to it yet?
What, Question?
Yeah.
Well, it's one of my favorite songs from them.
Wait, hold on. Is that the right one then? Because there was one.
You brought up another song that I haven't heard of. We keep blanking on the name.
Okay, there's another Moody Blues song in there that, despite everything he knows, I caught him off guard. And now I'm going to have to look it up again because I can't remember what it was.
And you even recognized the Boomtown Rat song that I didn't even recognize.
Oh, I don't like Mondays.
Yeah.
Who does like Mondays? That should be our morning talker. Do you like Mondays?
We'll say that.
Vote now.
We'll see if Slip and Tiny can work that in for next Monday.
For next Monday. Well, but see, if you don't like Mondays, you may not be up that Monday to participate. We'll have to ask on Tuesday.
You got a point.
On Tuesday. Saturdays are our Mondays.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk in here, and the first thing I do, I come in, I jam with Nick, and then I tell him what's on the agenda for the day for our weekend newscast. I'm like, okay, I've got you here. This is going on. He tells me what's going on in the weather, so.
And we both find out sports usually likes to take their time.
Yes, they do. And sometimes, on the weekends, there's not a lot going on. So I tell Nick, I say, look, need some extra time? Please talk about anything, whether sports related, for as long as you like.
Yeah.
And then other days I got to come to him and say, look, no, I've actually got a lot of news going on, so I'm going to need you to narrow it down a bit.
Yeah.
It's like sunny and warm and thanks.
Yeah, I can certainly comply with that because there are certainly some days where I feel like I've blabbed enough. So
I mean, when you have beautiful weather, sometimes when I was filling in for you guys and it was just hot and humid, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, by the 9, I'm like, man, how many other ways can you say it's miserable outside? And it's miserable in a new way now. Miserably cold. And Carrie's proven it.
But again, we're going back into the 50s, so we are going to improve as the day goes on.
I'm looking forward to it, and that sunshine is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, certainly welcome after the cloudy few days we see.
It certainly is. Nick, thank you so much. Getting to today's top stories, police have increased the reward for anyone who can offer information leading to the arrest of whoever brutally killed a police officer's dog. Now, last week, Ranger was found dead in his owner's backyard. Police yesterday announced they've increased the reward to $3,000. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink said in a statement, quote, "This was not just the killing of a dog. It was a brutal mutilation of a beloved pet and attempted threat to one of our officers." A jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities in 2019 Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then, when the man came outside, shot the man as well. Now, that man survived, and White testified that he went to the house because his vehicle had been keyed. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says he'll continue to fight President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandates.
President Biden's administration does not believe in personal responsibilities.
The governor appeared on Tuesday with Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor. The state has asked a federal judge to stop the mandatory vaccinations for federal employees and National Guard members. On Tuesday, Leggett & Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of different sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech.
Now, these masks are going to be used not only by our daytime programs, which serve high schools from Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, and Sarcoxy, but also will help out our adult programs at night that serve people from throughout the areas.
Of course, Franklin Tech has 2 locations, one at the high school and one at 810 South Wall in Joplin. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports, and now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. And that's obviously a big accomplishment, and it's going to help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university.
I was trying to play off placement, but also get my elims and everything. So getting those together, that first game, I won that entire game. But the second one, I got 4th in. But it was pretty cool seeing, like, being able to do that and have that, I guess, luck to get that far in without being stopped.
7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games such as NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. KOAM's Toy Box project is well underway, and we'll take you behind the scenes with the Bishop and Hayes law offices as they lend their support. Plus, the Biden administration considers options for possibly evacuating U.S. citizens from Ukraine if Russia invades. We'll have the latest. But first, like I said, we're running a little behind. It is now 5:40.
We are looking at the 7-day forecast once again. 56, mostly sunny today. We got a great day lined up. 68 for tomorrow, 73 Friday. Friday's also when our next storm system will roll on through. It could bring some scattered showers for Friday, but behind it, we'll drop into the 40s for Saturday and 50s for Sunday. But Saturday, Sunday, staying dry. We'll be right back.
Topping World Watch, Europe is battling a surge in COVID cases amid concerns over the Omicron variant. And the World Health Organization is stressing that masks, vaccinations, and boosters will save tens of thousands of lives. Selma Abdelaziz reports from London.
We need to keep cool heads when it comes to the Omicron variant. That was the message today from the Europe chief for the World Health Organization. Speaking to reporters, he said that the Delta variant is still the one mainly driving a surge across the European region, and the tools used to drive down that Delta variant will also be the tools needed for the Omicron variant until we know more from scientists. So what are those tools? Of course, key among them is mask mandates. Dr. Kluge saying if we could nearly double the amount of masks worn indoors in Europe and Central Asia, about 48% of people indoors in those regions now wear masks. If that could be increased to about 95%, it could save over 160,000 lives by March of next year. Of course, the other tool is vaccinations. Across the European region, about 1 in 3 people are yet to be vaccinated. That's according to the European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. And the concern is that many of these people are hard-line anti-vaxxers and simply not getting the message despite being eligible for months. That's why countries like Germany are considering the possibility of vaccine mandates. Austria has already put a vaccine mandate in place, but Dr. Kluge warned against these mandates.
Mandates around vaccination are an absolute last resort and only applicable when all other feasible options to improve vaccination uptake have been exhausted. They have proven effective in some environments to increase vaccine uptake. but the effectiveness of mandates is very context specific. The effect that mandating vaccination could have on public confidence and public trust, as well as vaccination uptake, must be considered.
For now, the World Health Organization encouraging governments to go into local communities, get the message out there, reach out to the unvaccinated pockets and try to convince them, persuade them to be immunized. The other key tool, of course, against the Omicron variant is boosters, boosters, boosters. Here in the UK, the government has a very ambitious plan to get invitations for a booster shot to every single adult by the end of January. To do that, the UK Health Secretary has said that 10,000 paid vaccinators will be hired. Hundreds of British troops will also be involved in this effort. But all of this, of course, preemptive as we wait to learn more about the severity of the Omicron variant from scientists.
Sources say the Biden administration is looking at options for potentially evacuating U.S. citizens from Ukraine if Russia invades the country. U.S. officials stress that it remains unclear whether Russian President Vladimir Putin has made the decision to invade. However, he has built up enough forces, equipment, and supplies near Ukraine's borders to attack on very short notice. U.S. State Department would be responsible for ultimately deciding if an evacuation operation is necessary. At the moment, an evacuation of diplomatic staff from Ukraine appears very unlikely. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Nick Kelly is joining us for something to talk about. And something else to talk about just real fast here is we figured out the song. It was Gemini Dream.
Gemini Dream.
By the Moody Blues. But by the way, if you are an aficionado of classic rock, don't want to forget to direct you to facebook.com/Nick Kelly WX. Not only will you find the latest forecast and weather information from this humble man here, you will also find the latest on what you need to know about classic rock history.
Yeah, and on KOAM News Now Facebook page, Chris, we got our morning talker up, and it's discussing wintertime, especially since our area can see quite a range of weather for the winter months, but it certainly feels like winter up north in Minnesota. The last few days we had temperatures cold enough, and certainly cold enough for snow. They're certainly no stranger to cold weather, but most of those folks there, if not all of Minnesota, they've learned to deal with the cold and even embrace it, especially, you can see right there, people taking the curling outside and even frisbee golfing, even though the elements may not suggest it's appropriate weather. But that segues to our question of the day, or something to talk about this morning. Are you ready for winter? So far, the votes are split, 50-50, yes and no, but you still have plenty of time to chime in. KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. The app for iOS and Android, and also on Facebook. You can head over there, chime in with your thoughts about the winter as well. We'll be back after the break.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, news you need to know before you head out the door. A jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities say in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then, when the man came outside, he shot that man as well. The man survived. White testified he went to the house because his vehicles had been keyed. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports. Now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. It's obviously a big accomplishment, and it's going to help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university. City of Chanute is combining two holiday staples to give kids a fun time. They hosted a candy cane hunt. It's similar to an Easter egg hunt where kids searched around the Central Park Pavilion. The lucky kids who found green candy canes received a special prize. And on Tuesday, Leggett & Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of different sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech. And that is a check of today's top headlines. That's news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as far as your forecast for today is looking, we're certainly looking a lot better compared to the past few days. After quite a few days of cloud cover, and certainly after the few sprinkles and flurries that some spots saw the other day, we're looking a heck of a lot better today. 39 degrees by 9 a.m. with a lot of dry air in place and the south breeze staying light. We'll soar to 51 by noon and get afternoon highs around 56 degrees. That's a definite improvement compared to the past few days. Overnight lows will drop to 47 degrees by the midnight hour, but then as the south breeze picks up, we'll go back to 51. as we go towards 6 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Along with the wave, maybe a couple sprinkles late tonight and maybe very early Thursday morning, but mainly dry for Thursday with highs around 68. 73 on Friday, a mild start to the weekend, but on the heels of another system with maybe some scattered showers on Friday. It'll drop us back to 49 on Saturday, 56 for Sunday, but overall, the weekend ahead, not looking too bad.
Welcome back. The folks from Bishop and Hayes Law Offices came out in holiday force yesterday to support the KOAM Toy Box project and have some fun in the process. They had a toy box shopping adventure in Joplin.
Well, it's wonderful. We love the KOM Toy Box campaign. It's a way that we love to support our community. Go back to whenever I was a kid and think about the kind of toys that I like to play with, and then I have 4 kids of my own, so I know what they like to do, and so I just try to find the kind of toys that are fun to play with on a Christmas morning. And I know that in this day and time that some families are struggling and may not be able to get a whole lot for their kids for Christmas. And I like the idea that we're able to partner with KOAM and try to make a kid's Christmas morning a little bit brighter. KOAM Toy Box!
Well, members of the Student Council from Soaring Heights Elementary in Joplin teamed up with our own Dow Quick and Jacob Leonard for their own shopping adventure. We're going to have that story for you in the next half hour. And, of course, you can always find out more about our project here on our website. Yes, I am wearing the comfy shoes. I just realized that you can see them, and they are comfy, and that, you know, that's the thing. You stand for 3 hours. This is the most sitting I'm going to do most of this day. So you stand for 3 hours. You got to be comfy. You have to be. Nick's got a final check of our forecast when we come back.
Temperatures might be cold to start this morning out with everybody in the 20s or the 30s, but everyone's going to enjoy a mostly sunny afternoon and certainly much warmer temperatures. We'll go 56 degrees this afternoon, especially around the Joplin metro with the south breeze of 5 to 10 miles per hour. But that same story applies for the entire area. Everyone's going to work back into the mid-50s this afternoon. But late tonight into Thursday morning, another quick wave will pass on by, bring in partly to mostly cloudy skies, maybe a couple sprinkles in a few spots. But that means temperatures will only drop back into the upper 40s and lower 50s for tomorrow morning. 68 Thursday, mainly dry. 73 on Friday, maybe a couple showers with another system, but behind it, we're dry for the rest of the weekend, but we're looking at 40s on Saturday and 50s on Sunday. Another hour of news coming up.
Right now at 6, the Parsons Police Department increases the reward for information concerning the killing of a police officer's dog. Also, a jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting another man that he claimed keyed his car. And Crowder College plugs into the world of esports, claiming a national title in the process.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Or if you're just joining us, welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Chris Warner, and we're watching the Bishop and Hayes folks shop at Walmart, and it brought back some memories. So Nick, of course, grew up in St. Louis, so he wouldn't have been here for this, but the old 15th Street Walmart, they tore down the original building and built a new one. And then I want to say 95, they converted it to a super center. I remember 2 cool things about it. One is the front end was carpeted, and 2, there were 32 registers in that store.
That number really stands out to me much more than the carpeted front end.
It just blew my mind because it was our first super center in the area, and it was massive in size for a Walmart store, and it just kind of boggled my mind. Something else that it's not a mind boggler, but I wanted to remind folks for Christmas season, if you want your kids dressed nice, Icelandic Christmas folklore. There's a thing called the Yule Cat. I wanted to go over the Yule Cat one more time. He's a huge and vicious cat who lurks about in the snowy countryside during Christmas time, or Yule, and he eats people. There he is. That's what he's like when he's dormant, when he's sleeping.
Okay.
But when he's not sleeping, he goes around and he eats people who have not received any new clothes before Christmas Eve. So watch out for this guy, because when Yule time comes, it's going to be Yule Cat time.
All right, we'll split the duties here. Like, you'll keep track of the, what is it, the Yule Cat?
The Yule Cat. Can you track him? Can NORAD with the Santa tracker track the Yule Cat and see if he's making mistakes?
I think our technology can only muster tracking the weather and Santa Claus himself. I don't know about the Yule Cat, but I think that's your area of
Make sure
expertise.
you have some new clothes before Christmas. But here's the deal. I don't know how that's supposed to actually work, because you get new clothes on Christmas, but the Yule Cat will get you if you don't open at least one of those new clothes gifts before Christmas. Well, hold on. It says who have not received any new clothes to wear before Christmas Eve. It doesn't necessarily say you have to wear them. You have to have received them. So presuming you get a gift of new clothes, as long as they bought you the gift before Christmas Eve, I guess the Yule Cat won't get you. I don't know. We're going to have to do that calls for some investigative research on exactly how the Yule Cat operates. Something that's not so investigative is the fact that it's really cold. I mean, it's December.
We're quiet. We're not dealing with any cloud cover this morning. It looks quiet from 7th and Range Line. And again, the skies, they're mostly clear. It's a nice change of pace after the last wave that passed on through the other day left us cloudy for the entire day. Not to mention trying to bring a few flurries and sprinkles to a few spots, but nothing on the radar. We're not going to see this light up with any rain or snow echoes, and we're certainly going to see temperatures eager to respond to that throughout the course of the day. For now, mid-20s in some of our western counties, but the vast majority of the area in the upper 20s to lower 30s to start this morning out. So definitely a cool start out there, but it's looking good for the rest of the day. We'll still hover around the freezing mark as the kiddos head out to school, but by the time they head back home, we'll be topping out around 56 degrees with plenty of sunshine. So throughout the day in general, we're looking pretty good. 39 by 9 a.m., 51 by noon, highs near 56. Chris, this is a definite improvement compared to the 40s that we were stuck with over the past few days. And we'll see if we can keep this warming trend going when we break down the extended forecast again coming up in a bit.
I do believe that your bus performed an illegal U-turn.
Well, maybe it was a different bus. Like, well, it was going through time.
That's true, but man, he moved awfully fast.
Maybe that bus is turbo supercharged.
That could that would have been a bus to ride, the turbo bus.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's ready to today's top stories. Police have increased the reward for anyone who can offer information leading to the arrest of whoever brutally killed a police officer's dog. Last week, Ranger was found dead in his owner's backyard. Yesterday, police announced they've increased the reward to $3,000. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spinks said in a statement, quote, "This was not just the killing of a dog. It was a brutal mutilation of a beloved pet and attempted threat to one of our officers." A jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities say in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then, when the man came outside, he shot the man as well. Now, that man survived. White testified that he went to the house because his vehicle had been keyed. White was convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says he'll continue to fight President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandates.
President Biden's administration does not believe in personal responsibilities.
The governor appeared on Tuesday with Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor. The state has asked a federal judge to stop the mandatory vaccinations for federal employees and National Guard members. On Tuesday, Leggett and Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech.
Now, these masks are going to be used not only by our daytime programs, which serve high schools from Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, and Sarcoxy, but also will help out our adult programs at night that serve people from throughout the area.
Franklin Tech, located 810 South Wall in Joplin. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports. Now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. And that's obviously a big accomplishment and will help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university.
I was trying to play off placement, but also get my elims and everything. So getting those together, that first game, I won that entire game. But the second one, I got fourth in. But it was pretty cool seeing, like, being able to do that and have that, I guess, luck to get that far in without being stopped.
7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games such as NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is now 6:07.
Yeah, we are looking at a nice day ahead of us. Mostly sunny skies once we get past sunrise. Then we're looking just spectacular with temperatures compared to the past few days. We were stuck in the 40s. We'll go 51 by noon, 56 for the afternoon, and a quick look at the 7-day has us in the upper 60s Thursday and briefly in the lower to middle 70s on Friday. Then on the backside of another storm system, Chris, will be back in the 40s on Saturday and 50s on Sunday.
Those nice temperatures. Nick, thank you so much. That is a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a new victim killed by a Midwest serial killer has been identified and his family given some answers. Plus, a therapy might help you sleep better and wake up feeling happier. And holiday spending has put even more stress on the supply chain issue. We have the latest on how you can help it. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Senate lawmakers held a hearing on the complex pandemic-induced supply chain problems plaguing the entire pipeline from shipping to store shelves. Trade experts testified there's no one silver bullet solution, and peak holiday shopping is, of course, stressing the system and consumers. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Preferred Popcorn CEO Norman Krug told lawmakers it typically took 37 days to get his product from Nebraska to Tokyo. And now,
the actual transit time now would be 60 to 90 days to get that product shipped. But the bigger problem is that it takes 2 to 3 months to get space on the ship.
senators are trying to untangle the pandemic-induced bottlenecks choking commerce from port to pavement. Shipping and trade experts testified about the complexities of supply chain disruptions.
The problems are not caused by a lack of ships or containers. We have plenty of those. The problem is when we get to port, we can't get in.
To me, it's not a workforce shortage so much as it is a quality of jobs problem and a pay shortage.
Lawmakers are considering various solutions for multiple points in the supply chain, but none can come quickly enough for the holidays. The National Retail Federation says many consumers took the advice to shop early, with 180 million shoppers opening their wallets this past weekend.
Retailers, again, are trying to make sure shoppers have not just have options. While you might not be able to get your first choice, there will be other products there for you to select from.
Some tips if you're still checking that list. Watch for restocks. More merchandise may arrive. Check delivery deadlines to make sure you can get your item in time. Give a gift card. They aren't likely to go out of stock and can be delivered digitally. Experts predict we'll continue to see supply disruptions through the better part of 2022. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
One of the acts mentioned in the conservation was the Freight Act, which aims to improve the freight transportation system. Wall Street had one of its busiest days in months. The Dow gained 492 points, NASDAQ added 461, S&P gained 95. Investors piled into tech stocks, giving NASDAQ and S&P 500 their biggest jumps since March. While health experts are still diving into the data about COVID-19's Omicron variant, the news has so far been positive as early signs are that symptoms are relatively mild, calming the fears of an economic roadblock. An Amazon Web Services outage took down a portion of the internet Tuesday and may have caused a delay in package deliveries. Amazon products, as well as Disney+, Slack, and Robinhood, were among the services affected by the server issue. Amazon's delivery service also saw problems with its operations. This Christmas, instead of leaving Santa milk for... Hold on. I apologize. That is not written right. It says instead of leaving Santa milk for his cook... Oh, wait. No, it is. God, it's too early in the morning. Instead, look, don't leave him milk for his cookies. Try pairing him with a bottle. He'll like this more. Maybe this is what I've had too much of. A bottle of wine. Oreo is teaming up with Barefoot Wine for a limited release this week. The red wine features notes of chocolate, cookie, and cream flavors. It will be available for about $25 a bottle and comes with a package of Oreo thin cookies. On the other hand, the milk and cookies might be just a little bit cheaper. The right to repair movement is gaining momentum as more countries demand more from manufacturers so that people can fix what they buy. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Finding the fix is the name of the game at this free repair shop in Denmark. They repair because they care about giving products a new life.
We have to take care of the planet. We can't afford to live like we used to live.
It's part of a campaign across Europe and the U.S. to ditch the throwaway culture for electronics and other household goods by making repairs easier.
Mystery screws, too much glue, parts that are hard to find.
Right to repair campaigners are pushing for laws that force companies to give customers the knowledge and tools they need to fix something when it breaks.
A lot of the tools and manuals are only made available to professionals, and we're not professionals.
Apple announced it will let users start fixing some of their own equipment. And more than a dozen states are pushing for laws that make manufacturers provide manuals, spare parts, and special tools needed to make repairs.
My radio was broken, and I didn't want to replace it with a new one.
And that's the idea, to encourage people to reuse rather than replace. Victor Herget says just seeing his speaker being repaired gave him some confidence.
Have the courage to open it myself next time to check if I'm able to do anything about it.
And campaigners say if companies start arming consumers with the right tools to make repairs on their own, it could be just the fix the planet needs too. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
All right, in all fairness on the Santa and his milk and cookies thing real quick, it said instead of leaving Santa milk for his cookies to, I'm thinking milk and cookies, but now it's suggesting then you pour him a glass of wine and you dip the cookies into that, and we were just discussing here, that sounds like a terrible idea. Back to right to repair, though. Sweden has gone perhaps further than any other country to protect people's pocketbooks and the planet, with the government giving tax breaks for people who repair electronics, bikes, white goods, and even clothes at home. That's it for Consumer Watch. We're going to be right back.
After dealing with quite a few cool days to start this week out, we're finally going to see temperatures back on the warming trend, especially on the backside of our last storm system. That's to the east of us now. It brought quite a bit of cloud cover the other day, not to mention a few sprinkles and flurries for a few spots. But the surface certainly looks promising. Another area of high pressure centered over the Missouri-Arkansas border. We're keeping that southerly breeze in place, light, but it will do the trick along with finally more clearing skies after the last of the cloud cover cleared out. All of those factors working together to really warm us up throughout the course of the day. But as long as it's still dark outside, even though it's mostly clear up top, it's cold in Joplin, sitting at 30 degrees with the south breeze very light at about 3 miles per hour. But most of us are in the mid to upper 20s to about 30 degrees across much of the region. And thankfully, with that breeze staying light, there's not really that much of a wind chill, so it doesn't feel too nippy outside. But again, once we get past sunrise, we'll quickly go to 35 by 8 a.m., 51 by noon. Joplin will top out at 56 degrees for this afternoon. Underneath, mostly sunny skies, and everybody's going to fare pretty well with mostly sunny skies and a light breeze today. We'll be near 50 by the start of the afternoon, mid-50s before the day is all said and done. But another quick wave that'll pass nearby later on tonight will bring some cloud cover back into play, maybe a couple sprinkles in a few spots. But midnight, lows drop to about 47, then another eager warming trend taking place even before we head towards sunrise tomorrow. But that will push us to 68 on Thursday, 73 on Friday. Another quick system on Friday, though, will bring some scattered showers our way and dropping us back into the 40s on Saturday and 50s on Sunday. Switching gears now, after nearly 4 decades, Indiana authorities have identified a victim of infamous serial killer Larry Eiler. William Lewis was last seen hitchhiking from Texas to Indiana back in 1982, and his family had no idea what happened to him until now. Adam Pinsker has details.
My dad always told us the mob killed him. So, like, we didn't, I think it was just a joke.
But investigators with the Jasper County Sheriff's Office were serious about finding out what happened to William Lewis, even if it took 4 decades. And with the help of a company called the Red Grave Research Forensic Services, they were able to confirm that serial killer Larry Eiler killed Lewis.
They had drank some beer and they had taken some drugs, and they wound up here in Jasper County, where he basically bound him, gagged him, and assaulted him, killed him.
Eiler, who died in 1994, told his attorney he killed someone but could not remember who it was. The sheriff's office saved Lewis's remains, and in 2018, coroner Andrew Boersma exhumed Lewis's body. That's when the remains were tested.
My grandmother never did. To the day she died, she never did. So she never accepted that anything. Like, she was like, he's still out there.
Lewis's nephew Joshua Shuck asked people who knew his uncle about what he was like growing up.
He played football in high school. He was real quiet, kind of like stayed to himself.
Shuck and the rest of the Lewis family say they're grateful to finally get some closure after all these years.
Now, Eiler was a man accused of killing nearly 24 people around the Midwest back in the early 80s. He was sentenced to death in 1986, but died in 94 from AIDS-related complications before his execution. We'll be right back.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a sleep doctor has an alternative to that coffee to help you wake up. It's light therapy. We're not talking like light, like you weigh less or anything. And this could also help you feel better. Kristen Bean shows us you don't need a prescription or medical insurance to buy this.
Here in the Midwest, we're familiar with late sunrise and early sundown, and sleep doctors say that could be impacting your mood. Dr. Douglas Liepert of the Center for Sleep and Nasal Sinus Disorders in South Bend says this time of year, seasonal affective disorder becomes more prominent. People might feel more tired, more unwell, or sad, and it could be because they're not getting good light. Light therapy can be used to supplement natural sunlight. It's basically when a person sits in front of a light or a light box at a specific time during the day. Liepert says you should do this in the morning, about 30 minutes after you wake up.
For the average person, the best thing to do is, when do you naturally wake up? So if you're not on the alarm clock and you get a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body temperature minimum is usually going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours before your natural rise time.
Liepert says it could elevate your mood and ultimately help you sleep better at night. But don't do light therapy at night, as it will keep you from feeling sleepy. Anyone can buy these lights online, but Liepert says if your doctor writes you a prescription, health insurance could help cover some of the cost.
If you exercise regularly, you lower your risk of developing or dying from pneumonia. That's the finding of English researchers who analyzed studies involving more than 1 million participants. They found walking even once a week for 30 minutes can lessen the risk of death from the illness. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:27.
A quick look at the 7-day forecast once again has us looking a lot better today. Mostly sunny. Because of that, and the light south breeze will finally send highs back near 56 today. 68 Thursday, 73 on Friday. But once Friday's system passes on through with a few showers, we're dropping back into the upper 40s on Saturday and mid-50s for Sunday.
Right now at 6:30, the Parsons Police Department increases the reward for information concerning the killing of a police officer's dog. Plus, a jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man he claimed keyed his car. And Crowder College plugs into the world of esports, claiming a national title in the process.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. If you're just joining us, welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Chris Warner. I was just telling everybody I had something I had to share.
Oh?
It is an important piece of news. This is coming from WJW, Fox 8 in Cleveland. It's a story out of Euclid, Ohio. So we've all had an interesting experience at a fast food restaurant, right? Sometimes they don't get the order right. Sometimes it's a long line. It takes a while to get through. You get a little grumpy. You're like, yeah, man, come on, let's go. I mean, it's fast food. I shouldn't be here all night, right?
Yeah.
All right, and we've been there. Well, apparently, a 37-year-old Euclid woman from Euclid, Ohio, was not so happy with her experience at a Wendy's up there. According to their police chief, Scott Meyer, he says, from our understanding, she was quite upset with her order. She felt it was taking too long, and she had some choice words for the staff, letting them know that her order had better be right. Okay? So the manager heard her swearing at the staff members. He then told her she would not be served and to leave the lane. Well, that didn't really set well with her, as if the wait didn't set well with her in the first place. Being told, sorry, we're not going to serve you, pushed her over the line. She then fired 3 shots in the drive-thru lane. No one was injured, but she fired 3 shots, and it says here, she fired the shots in a fast food lane, never ended up getting her dinner, but she was served with a felony weapons charge and an order to stay away from Wendy's. So, next time you're upset in the drive-thru, don't do anything rash.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Don't get that. I've been upset, and I've left a drive-thru lane before when I've at the little thing, where you order and it's like 5 minutes and nobody's even said, I'll be right with you. I'm like, all right, forget this. I'm going to go somewhere else. I have never once opened fire at a drive-thru sign because I wasn't getting my order. I'm just saying, if you have at home, if you for any reason open fire at a drive-thru, let us know, I guess. I'm hoping you haven't. Like I said, no one was injured. That's the important thing. She's in the drive-thru lane. She fired at the drive-thru lane, not at people or anything like that. But she just popped a couple of rounds off.
I've had some fast food experiences, but none that can come close to that.
And you haven't, felt compelled to open fire at the drive-thru.
No, I would just go to McDonald's or Subway or somewhere else.
See, that's the logical thing to do. I like Wendy's. Don't get me wrong. I like Wendy's, okay? But I have never been compelled to act in violence because my order was taking too long or was not quite right. She was. Carrie says she was hangry, and I agree. She must have been. And I can't imagine how much hangrier she was when they're like, okay, well, you just fired at us. You're definitely not getting your order. That is not a way to encourage them to make your food any faster.
Yeah. I will say this, though, for those that did not like the cloudy skies we dealt with over the past few days, we've been waiting patiently with Mother Nature to deliver on our order of
shots into the sky at the clouds.
But she got the message nonetheless. We're looking quiet from 7th and Range Line to start the day out. All the cloud cover we had the other day, and maybe a couple of sprinkles and flurries in a few spots, is long gone. We're not seeing anything on the radar. That's setting the stage for a nicer day ahead of us. Mid to upper 20s in southeast Kansas. Everybody else, we're in the upper 20s to lower 30s to start the morning out. A bit of a breeze for some. Could make it feel like 17 in Iola, 20 in Yates Center. Everybody else, it's just cold no matter where you are to start the day out. But 32 degrees by the time the kids head out to school. By the time everybody starts heading back home from work, and certainly the kids head home from school, we're looking a lot better today. Instead of the 40s for highs, we'll go to 51 by noon and top out around 56 for today. We'll break down the forecast once again, Chris, because we are going to see this mild trend for a few more days, and then we'll see some more changes by the weekend. We'll break that down in the forecast here in a bit.
All right, Nick, I'm looking forward to those changes. I'm looking forward to that warmer weather. In the time it took me to tell you about the Wendy's situation, my little system here kicked me out, so I had to... get it. I guess it was no longer interested. But and see, that's the thing. I don't feel compelled to open fire at this iPad because
it's not your iPad.
Well, that wasn't her Wendy's. I highly doubt she owned the thing. It didn't stop her from doing so. But I don't feel compelled to do that with this iPad. I just simply said, let's get back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you so much for the update. Turning to today's This morning's top stories, police have increased the reward for anyone who can offer information leading to the arrest of whoever brutally killed a police officer's dog. Now, last week, Ranger was found dead in his owner's backyard. Police today announced they've increased the reward to $3,000. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink said in a statement, quote, "This was not just the killing of a dog. It was a brutal mutilation of a beloved pet and an attempted threat to one of our officers." A jury has found a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities say in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then, when the man came outside, he shot the man as well. That man survived, and White testified that he went to the house because his vehicle had been keyed. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports, and now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. And that's obviously a big accomplishment, and it's going to help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university.
I was trying to play off placement, but also get my elims and everything. So getting those together, that first game, I won that entire game. But the second one, I got fourth in. But it was pretty cool seeing, being able to do that and have that, I guess, luck to get that far in without being stopped.
7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games such as NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. When you give to the KOAM Toy Box Project, every penny of every dollar pays for gifts for kids in need. And to help us make sure that money is spent wisely, we recruited help from some experts. We went shopping at Pittsburgh's Walmart with members of the Student Council from Soaring Heights Elementary in Joplin. A few students shopped with KOAM's Jacob Leonard to buy for kids up to 9 years. Dow Quick shopped with a group looking for gifts for kids ages 10 through their teens. And KOAM's photographer Ty Parks got a look.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Know what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. So usually people look for themselves. So whenever you get to look for other people, it's a lot funner. And so I like shopping for toddlers. And I try to just look for toddlers, rainbow, PJ Masks, everything like that.
Avery and Allison and Josh and I are looking for toys for kids in double digits, like 10 through teenagers. So it's a bit of a challenge, but we're looking at electronics and fishing gear and Pokemon. Lots of Pokemon apparently. Remind me what's appropriate for what age groups, because I have no clue.
Yeah.
But you're pretty good, Josh. I appreciate it.
Looks like a good time, and it looks like they did a pretty good job. We want to thank the Student Council at Soaring Heights Elementary. Great kids, great shoppers, obviously, and a lot of fun. Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News.
A foreign diplomacy test for President Biden. I'm Laura Podesta with the warning sent to Russian President Vladimir Putin if he chooses to invade Ukraine.
Plus, Midwest winters, they can be brutal, especially in the 4 states. So are you prepared for the winter season when it comes around? We're going to let you weigh in. But first, it is now 6:39.
A look at the forecast has us finally with more sunshine today, pushing us to 51 by noon. Let's go 56 for this afternoon. We'll watch for some passing clouds, maybe a couple sprinkles later on tonight and certainly very early tomorrow morning. But 68 Thursday, 73 on Friday. We'll go a little deeper into the forecast later on in the show, but we'll be back with Nation Watch on the other side.
Experience.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President Biden's foreign diplomacy skills are being put to the test. Mr. Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke for 2 hours yesterday to try and quell tension between Russia and Ukraine. Laura Podesta reports on what's happening now.
Russian President Vladimir Putin received a strong message during a face-to-face call with President Biden yesterday. If Russia attacks Ukraine, a price will be paid.
He told President Putin directly that if Russia further invades Ukraine, the United States and our European allies would respond with strong economic measures.
Measures include a cutoff of Western investment and further taxes on Russian goods to make them unaffordable to Western shoppers. The tension between Russia and its neighbor to the southwest has been brewing for weeks. As seen in this satellite imagery, close to 100,000 Russian troops are now amassed at Ukraine's border. Ukraine wants to join the U.S. and most of Europe in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In a statement after yesterday's meeting, Russia argued it is NATO that is making dangerous attempts to expand into the Ukrainian territory and called for legally fixed guarantees excluding the expansion of NATO in the eastern direction. President Biden said no.
President Biden made that point crystal clear to President Putin today that the issue of who joins NATO is an issue for NATO to decide.
While the White House says it does not want to put U.S. troops in harm's way defending Ukraine, more troops might be sent into Eastern Europe to fortify NATO allies. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
While the White House says it doesn't want to put U.S. troops in harm's way defending Ukraine, President Biden did warn the U.S. could, quote, provide additional defensive material to the Ukrainians. Also at stake that could serve as a deterrent, the future of the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline between Russia and Germany. Chief Safety Tyrann Mathieu is the team's nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year award this year, and it's because of the work he's done in the Kansas City Metro to help families in need. Emily Rittman tells us about one event that featured some pretty big surprises.
This is the moment the crowd saw the gifts picked from their wish lists. The night began with a holiday dinner catered by Joe's Kansas City Barbecue.
How's everybody doing?
Then came the first surprise, autographs and pictures with Tyrann Mathieu.
Best day ever. I thought we were just having dinner here. Then I saw Casey Wolf. Then Tyrann Mathieu went on the stage and I saw him and I was shocked.
So mostly I'm just excited to see these families. Hopefully put a smile on their face.
Mission accomplished.
I always think of family. I always think of celebrating and just trying to give these families the opportunity to kind of experience some of the things that hold close to me.
This is the very first time something like this has happened for our kids who really deserve to have a great Christmas this holiday. I'm very excited that Tyrann is stepping up to help out in this way.
As families waited to open their gifts, we found out what they were hoping for.
More makeup. I just like slime. My mom doesn't let me have slime.
As wrapping paper frantically flew.
Oh, y'all got some good stuff?
What I got!
It was clear these 10 families went home happy.
Are you having fun?
Yes.
You can vote for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award via Twitter, and of course, you know who to vote for. Vote Matthew. That's a look at today's top national stories. Now we're going to check back in with Nick for our Something to Talk About.
And it's weather-related, Chris. It's about winter time. We're not officially in winter yet, but many of us certainly how cold it was, especially this past February with that brutal cold snap during the middle of the month. But we should probably learn some lessons from our neighbors up in Minnesota, especially around the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. These folks embrace the cold, so even though you can see snow on the ground there, they have no problems taking the curling outside and even some frisbee golf as well. So let's bring things back here. And let's just throw it over to you. Are you ready for winter at all? And so far, the votes have no's, winning at 54%, but you still have plenty of time to chime in. If you can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote, the iPhone or Android app, you can also vote that way. And we have this posted on the top of our Facebook page. You can chime in with your thoughts there. In the meantime, we'll be back with birthdays, anniversaries, our four-state hero, and another look at your forecast when we come back.
We take time now to honor today's four-state hero. Wes Clore, an Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran and Webb City native, served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2001 to 2006. And to Sergeant Wes Clore, we thank you, today's 4th State hero.
All right, we move on to birthdays for this Wednesday morning, starting with Jada Malvo out of Fort Scott. Happy 10th birthday to you, Jada.
Jada, happy birthday. We've also got Caitlin Cook. She celebrated her birthday yesterday. She is turning 14 in the great city of Lamar.
We head back over the state line to Riverton. Happy 16th, the Sweet 16 for Lindsay Ferguson. Happy birthday, Lindsay.
We got another Sweet 16, this one just a little to the north in Pittsburgh. It's Emma Mayhew. So very happy birthday to you, Emma. Go out there, get that driver's license, and watch out, because Nick Kelly's on the road too.
Moving on, we went ahead to Nevada. Brooklyn Kutina Smith. Hope we got the last name right, Brooklyn, but welcome to adulthood. Happy 18th birthday to you.
And this is a little bit of a correction on our side. Dallas McCoy, we showed the incorrect age yesterday. He's actually turning 71 in Erie. So a happy birthday to you, Dallas McCoy in Erie.
And happy birthday from the grandkids to Pauline Troth out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. That certainly looks like a happy grandmother right there.
Absolutely. And we're heading to Chetopa, where Mary Hess also celebrating a birthday. A very happy birthday to Mary. And of course, the most important news of the day, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. You can get special deals from local businesses. So if you want to be able to do that, here's how. You go to KOAMnewsnow.com, you sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
All right, and another quick check of our forecast here. We are finally gotten the last upper level wave out of here that left us cloudy with some sprinkles and flurries in a few spots the other day. We're seeing nothing but mostly clear skies outside and finally starting to see the sun brighten things up. Current check of the conditions in Joplin has us at 30, a light south breeze though at 3 miles per hour. Outside of Joplin, we're seeing a range between the mid-20s and about lower 30s across much of the region, but overall, not looking bad for today. We'll just keep things mostly sunny, 35 by 8 a.m., 51 by noon. Afternoon highs around 56. We'll see how the rest of the 7 days shaping up when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A jury finds a Newton County man guilty of shooting a man who he said keyed his car. Authorities say in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house and started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then when the man came outside, he shot the man as well. That man survived. White testified that he went to the house because his vehicle had been keyed. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. In the spring of 2020, Crowder College jumped into the world of esports. Now they've claimed their first national championship. Tyler Clement picked up the first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone. That's obviously a big accomplishment, and it'll help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university. The city of Chanute is combining two holiday staples to give kids a fun time. They hosted a candy cane hunt. It's similar to an Easter egg hunt where kids searched around the Central Park Pavilion. The lucky kids who found green candy canes received a special prize. On Tuesday, Leggett & Platt presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of sizes and 250 filters to Franklin Tech. And that is a check of the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as our forecast goes, as I promised, a look at the 7-day forecast before we head to CBS Mornings in a few minutes. 56 degrees. We're going to finally warm things up thanks to a lot more sunshine today and the south breeze at 5 to 10 miles per hour. A quick system though later on this evening and overnight will bring some cloud cover back in, maybe a couple sprinkles as well. But we'll still go to 68 Thursday, 73 on Friday, but a stronger cold front might bring some showers on Friday, Chris, but that will eventually knock us back into the 40s on Saturday and 50s on Sunday.
Still not too bad, I guess, for this time of year, Nick. Thank you so much. Hey, guess what? Coming up today on the news at noon, we're making razzle-dazzle raspberry bread in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Certainly sounds like an enticing recipe.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, but for now, though, the morning news will continue with CBS Mornings coming up next.
Or, of course, if you haven't had enough of your local news yet this morning, Because I know you haven't.
Yeah, we're not done.
We're not done. We have a whole nother hour of morning news coming up. So if you would like to stick with us, feel free to do so. You just got to notch channel up a little bit as we head over to the KOAM morning news on Fox 14, kicking off at 7 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.